There we go. All right. Welcome back to day 2, guys. Last day, best day. If you're here, let us know who's here in the comments and where you're from. Always fun to see that as you guys are jumping on. All right. Chat. Where's my chat box? Where's my chat box? All right. Good. All right. See you guys coming back. Thanks for being here again. So good. All right. I would love to know, what was your biggest takeaway yesterday? What did you take home, write down, put in your notes? What was your biggest takeaway yesterday? Let's see that in the comments.
Dry grinding. Absolutely. God, seriously, did you have to ask?
Jesse Jarvis, what were you watching yesterday? Oh my gosh, you guys, we have a Slack channel, and yesterday Sarah and Jeff got out of this webinar and they were like, why'd you do that? Why were you even thinking about that? I don't know. God, I'm sorry. I probably offended somebody yesterday.
Yeah, well, Emily, you missed it live, but you got to watch the replay. Awesome. Or no, you didn't have, but you're here today. Maybe, yeah, take some time and watch the replay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Priority versus priorities.
That
Nice.
was so good, Sarah.
Yeah, I thought that was just so interesting.
Yeah. Parkinson law, yes. I created an inbox, subfolder inbox with lists 1 through 4 to move my emails to. Oh, that's a good idea.
That is a really good idea.
Further, Priscilla. Time cannot be managed without a deadline. Amy, that's a good one. Yes. Can I do more with less? Looking at sales trends from multiple different ways and seeing what works and what doesn't. Doing more with less, I feel like, is probably one of the biggest unintended consequences that came out of the pandemic in a good way. Knowing it's okay to say no. Yes. Planner things. Yes. Okay. All right. Good things. So let me grab my planner things. Oh my gosh. I should really organize my office. I have so many things on the floor right now, Sarah. So if you're here today, we will send out, after today's webinar, we will send out the replay from yesterday and today. So you'll have both of them. They'll live in your Kajabi. If you're new to Kajabi, this is where, if you buy courses or like our marketing bundle or anything like that, it always goes into Kajabi for you. So everything's in one spot. We'll send all that out to you after today's webinar. And then today we're going to dig into the 3, 4, and 5 pillars or success habits of CEOs. Yesterday we covered 1 and 2. And then today we'll also, because there were so many questions yesterday on our planner, if you guys have more questions on the planner today, on the content planner today, we're going to deep dive into those as well. So keep your questions coming as we go throughout today. All right, Sarah, you want to recap yesterday really quick if someone's new joining us today?
Yeah. So yesterday we just kind of started to talk about the whole premise for doing this webinar is, as Ashley and I are working with boutique owners across the country, a wide variety of boutique owners, right? Just getting started, highly established, very successful boutique owners all over, right? We have decided that, as we chat back and forth, like, you know what? So-and-so said this and so-and-so said that. And the consistencies that we're seeing, right? We see consistencies in the boutiques that are really moving the mark and doing successful, a lot of successful things. We also see consistencies in the stores that are really struggling. So we thought right now before Q4, we would bring this to you and share some of these secrets, share some of these wins that they're having and these consistencies in our higher level boutiques that are not just surviving, but they are literally thriving through all of the pandemic, right? And they continue to move forward. And that doesn't mean that they don't have their struggles, that there's not things that have, set them back, right? Just because we're all going through the same stuff. But ultimately, there's been consistencies in their day, in their daily habits, and how they're prioritizing their time, where they are focusing, right? Like what they're really concentrating on and what they're delegating. And then there's also consistencies for these stores that are struggling very, much so to keep their doors open or keep their lights on. And what we find consistently there is those stores that are really struggling are trying to do absolutely everything for absolutely everyone. They're spread too wide, too thin. They are not focused on what's really important in their business. They're not analyzing their numbers and their data. They're not delegating, right? So we outlined these, and I know you got an email with this as well. So you guys, if you haven't downloaded or looked at that email, go and check that out. That'll outline what we talked about yesterday as well. But really those 3 P's of time management, I think were really important. And a lot of people commented on that. So I think, the priority, you cannot have more than one priority at a time. You can't have, everything can't be important to you in your life. If everything's important, then nothing is important. So we dove down on that. We talked about learning how to say no, valuing your time. With that, the Parkinson's law, that if you say, I am going to lose this amount of weight by this amount of day, you're giving yourself a deadline, and the chance of you actually doing that are so much better. Same with a task in your business, scheduling content or doing employee reviews. If you give yourself a deadline, it's going to happen, because you're going to set yourself in a time to manage it all, right? If there's no timeline, it's really not going to happen. It's just not. So we talked a lot about that in your business as well. And then we talked about analyzing trends. And when we say analyzing trends, when you see that in your email, just a reminder, we're not talking about fur vests, white fluffy fur vests that, you might just get randomly and wear. If anybody saw any pictures of Eric Alderson floating around the internet, we're not talking about leopard pants, Jeff. Then we are talking about trends in your business as far as numbers, like where are you trending in sales or discounts or returns or complaints? Where are you trending in all of these things? Everything with your sales and your margins and your inventory and your profit versus revenue. All those things I think are very important. So we hit on those traffic and social trends. And, we talked about your team trends, payroll, hours that they're working, right? Wins that they're having or struggles that they're having. These are all things that, as we're getting ready for the busy time of the season, every player has to be bringing their A game. And that's you as well as everybody on your team, everybody that's in your circle. And you have to be on the same page. And if you're, worried about shipping and receiving right now, which that's a huge thing, right? And if you haven't had good conversations with your UPS or your FedEx driver, I urge you to do so. Next time they come flying in, just pick their brain for 2 seconds. Hey, what are you guys seeing? What's something I need to be concerned about, right? Getting as much information to make the best decisions is really important. So anyway, we're going to continue to talk about what these successful boutique owners that Ashley and I have been speaking with and industry experts, what they are seeing, what they're doing, and bringing those tips back to you guys.
I love that. Thanks, Sarah, for the recap.
Yeah.
So main 2, tracking your time, managing time, success habit number 1 of CEOs, and analyzing trends, not leopard pants, but trends across all of your business yesterday. So today we're going to talk about the last 3 success habits. And the first one and the second one today really go hand in hand. The first is successful CEOs track long-term goals. And I just want to highlight the difference in a CEO mindset and an entrepreneur mindset. As an entrepreneur, I think we get on this hamster wheel of we do better than yesterday. And it's very short-term goal oriented versus a CEO where we're very long-term goal oriented. But a goal really is only successful if you have the right daily habits to support the goal and help you actually implement what's going to get you to achieve the goal. So that's number 3 and number 4 today. So let's talk about goals first. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe now, I had Tanya Dalton on the podcast. And Tanya is a favorite author of mine. She wrote the book, The Joy of Missing Out. And she has a brand new book, I think, out last week as well. And we talked about goals. And she said, couple things I want to give you today. The first is MTO. Every goal that we have should fall into MTO. What is our minimum goal? What is our trackable goal? And what's our outrageous goal? Sometimes I feel like we pull our goals out of thin air, right? And we don't really break it up into these 3 categories. So what's a minimum that I'm going to hit? What's trackable that I'm going to break down? Much like if you're in retail boot camp, today we were working with one of our students in retail boot camp and her boutique traffic plan and working backwards, right? If I'm going to hit $1 million this year, I have to have this average order value, I have to have this conversion rate, and I have to have this traffic. That's a trackable goal. And then finally, what's our outrageous goal? Because we're only as like big as our thinking, right? I think about this saying, a corny saying hung in every like school classroom when you were growing up, reach for the moon, even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. I'll never forget being in high school and sitting at a high school speech meet, reading this on some like classroom poster and thinking like, what does that really mean? Right? What does this corny saying really mean? And to me, it has everything to do with setting outrageous goals because, maybe you missed the outrageous goal, but look how much further you pushed yourself trying to hit that outrageous goal than you would have if you would have just played it safe with an attainable goal. So there's huge value in setting the M, the T, and the O. And the other thing I love that Tanya Dalton said was we have used SMART goals. You've probably heard of SMART goals in the past. Well, she now breaks goal setting into impact goals. And so I'll give you the acronym for impact. I in impact, and write impact in the comments if you're still tracking with me, if you haven't like fallen asleep yet. Write impact in the comments. The I is for inspirational. So inspirational, and that is setting a goal that's what I want versus what I don't want. So saying I'm making a goal to get healthy versus I'm making a goal to not be fat or to lose however many pounds. My goal is to get healthy. So it's not setting a goal around what I'm not going to do, but what I'm actually going to take action on. There is a huge strategy around lack and abundance when you think about putting things into terms of what we want versus what we don't want. I always use this example, like our brain doesn't know negative forms of words like can't or don't. It always associates like the power word with what we're going to do, right? It doesn't know negative tense or past tense. So when I talk to my daughter Hadley about running barrels or running poles, because we have horses, right? I will never say to her when she's going to go make a run, don't tip a pole, because that's a 5-second penalty, right? If I say don't tip a pole, her brain is going to go tip a pole, tip a pole. And now like we're focused on tipping a pole, not the don't tip a pole. So instead, my language is Hadley, make a clean run. Make a clean run, ride with your feet, be aggressive, make a clean run. So it's always the inspirational goal, not the negative side of the goal, if that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me on that. That's the I. The M is measurable. So every goal that we set has to be measurable, right? How do we know if we're actually going to hit this goal? It's not just a feeling, but what is the feeling going to equate to? What is actually trackable? I'm going to work out 3 times a week, right? That's trackable. So that's measurable. I am. P is purpose driven. So goals always have to be tied to the why, right? If my goal is to make $1 million, why, right? Then what? So what? What is the root? Why am I even like getting up this morning? To make $1 million so that I can what? And to me, that's where vision boards come in. What is the purpose behind all of this? Finally, the A, or not finally, but next, the A is acceptable, adaptable, and flexible. So acceptable, right? What is the acceptable goal? Is it just one hard goal or is it adaptable and flexible, right? What does that A look like for you in terms of being acceptable? The C in impact is challenging. So it's much like setting that outrageous goal. It's not a safe goal, but it's a challenging goal that's actually going to get us out of our comfort zone and be challenged to push and to attain the goal, not just to maintain what's safe in the status quo. And then finally, the T is timed. So the goal, what is the saying? A goal without a deadline is just a wish. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Right? A goal without a deadline is just a wish. So what is the time that I'm going to actually accomplish this goal in? So impact. And if you guys need, I can put that in the comments as well. Sarah, do you have anything you want to add to that? The goal setting?
Yeah, I just, I want to use you as an example, Ashley, because, as I have, my girls are juniors and seniors in high school, and people are always, what do you guys want to do when you grow up and all this stuff. And I think back to when I was in school in the 90s and people would say, oh, did you take your career aptitude test? Right. And I was like, oh yeah, the one that's going to tell me I'm going to either be a mortician or a bank teller, because that's kind of what they did. And I was thinking, gosh, do they even do those anymore? Because, I want everybody listening to like set that bar super high. Don't put yourself in a box. And I look at the business you created, Ashley. If you would have went back to somebody in the late 90s, early 2000s, and told them what your business was going to be, that you were basically going to be able to run a business from a little device that you put in your back pocket that connected thousands and thousands of business owners from across the country and around the world in a community to support each other and provide education, all this stuff, people would have looked at you like, what are you talking about? Right? I have no, what do you mean something that's going to be in your pocket, right? The iPhone, nobody, just a cell phone, nobody knew what that was going to be. And so, when you set your mind to something and you get traction on that, and that can continue to grow,
Yeah.
man, you've got to continue to map those things out and dream big, right? And don't listen to the naysayers when you have those goals. And I don't know why people have to be Debbie Downers. I don't know, but let's, like the girls, when they're talking about things, I'm like, think about your interests, right? But don't pigeonhole yourself to have to fit in one of these little pre-made boxes that society is doing. And so all of these things with these impact goals and things, I think to actually sit down and spend time in this, and not just like it's some stupid assignment you had in high school just to appease a teacher, like to sit down and do your vision boards and really write out these goals. Like, what is important to Holly? What's important to Michelle? What is really important to Crystal? What is going to make you tick, to get you out of bed motivated every day, right? Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but otherwise there's not the Ashley Aldersons of the world that create the boutique hub. There's just not. And that's a sad world. So going and taking this time to, and in the planner, we have these self-reflections and we have all these things really fun created. Jessie Jarvis, when she did that, she created it in a really fun way to express yourself, right? And go back to that kindergarten you that had all the dreams in the, in the world, and put that together on paper and look at that, study that, make it happen. So I think I want to empower you to go back and be the young kid that's inside of all of us that wants to dream big, right? And get that put down on paper and map that out, make it happen, instead of just being the one that's being told by society, all these little things you're supposed to do.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, I could go on a rampage about this because I feel so strongly about the safety culture that we're creating, the way these helicopter parents and wrapping our kids in bubble wrap. And, it's the same high school counselor that gave you that silly aptitude test that told you you could save your way to prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how you get rich someday, is by saving. No, it's by taking risks, right? It's by going out on a limb and taking a risk and being okay with failure.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we all taught our kids that it's okay to fail once in a while, man, would our world be a different place, right? And man, would our lives be different. So I love that. I think goal setting has to be the exact same way as an entrepreneur.
Rochelle made a comment. She said, that makes so much sense. I used to think those are waste of time. As long as it was in my head, it would come true. But the thing we've got to say about the in your head thing is the only person that knows you're on that mission is you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can be persuaded and you can be, pulled in other ways. When you start writing it down and sharing it and verbalizing it and visualizing it, it becomes a real thing, to the point, like if I said, I want to lose so much weight by the end of the year, if I keep it to myself, what holds my kids back from saying, hey mom, let's go to Mexican, at 8:00 at night, or hey mom, do you want ice cream while we watch a movie, or whatever? If they don't know I'm dialed in and I'm really focused on losing the weight, who's going to help me? And there I am, not just battling my inner self, I'm battling society, I'm battling the world, I'm battling everybody that doesn't know that's my mission and doesn't know that's my goal. So, that's why I love that, when we put that in the planner and we talk about how you can share your planner with your team, right? So everybody's on the same page, because my basketball team analogy, if you got 5 kids on the team and they're both trying to shoot at different goals, right? You're clearly not winning. You're not successful. So same as your business, right? Everybody needs to be on the same page.
Yeah. And burning the boats really is what I think about when you say
Yeah.
that. Like the whole analogy of, you got to burn the boat. You have to tell people what the goal is so you can burn the boat. There's no turning back. And this is the whole, for those of you, Michelle and Crystal, those of you that are in Retail Bootcamp, this, the whole vision board piece. That's where this all comes into play, is because you're putting this front and center on display, not just for you, but I always have the vision board in a place where people come to our home or to my office or whatever, they see it. Mm-hmm. Like, I am burning the boat. This is what I'm going for, come hell or high water. And you can ask me about it and I'll tell you about it, but I'm not ever going to be ashamed about it. And I'm not ever going to minimize it. I've had more than one bottle of wine with people at the house. And then all of a sudden they're looking at the vision board and going, what is the law of attraction? And I find myself after wine trying to explain this, and they think I'm half crazy. I'm okay with that. But what you think about, you bring about, and what you see every day and what you focus on every day becomes your reality. You get more of, right? And that's, come hell or high water, that's what I'm going to teach the kids too, is their attitude and how they see the world becomes their reality every single day. And as business owners, we have to see that. It's the vision we're casting for ourselves, the goal we're casting for ourselves, the way we're burning the boats, and the people we're surrounding ourselves with will make all the difference in the world.
Mhm.
Yes. The
I like
universe
it.
conspires to assist you, Mary. I love that. Yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does. All right. So that's success habit number 3. Let's talk about success habit number 4, because it goes hand in hand with goal setting, and that's the right daily habits. It's one thing to have the goal, it's another to have a daily habit or a daily process that's going to help you get there. And Sarah, I know you've got tons of tips to share here. I'll share this one quick 3-step process. I've talked about this a little bit inside of boot camp as well, about starting the day right with the 3-question analogy. And it goes hand in hand with what you were talking about yesterday with not using your phone as an alarm. I loved that tip. Making sure you're going back to the good old fashioned alarm clock, because it's so tempting when we grab our phone to then start our day looking at other people's agendas, and we're starting our day playing defense. So when I think about the right daily habits, I start my day with these 3 questions. No phone, but these 3 questions. Number 1 is, what am I most excited about today? And I tell everyone this came from high school for me. I freaking hated high school. I did not like school. I did not do that great at high school. And I had a hard time getting along with the small class that I had. And so I always had to ask myself, what am I excited about today? I had to find something. Otherwise, I did not want to get up and go to school. And so my why today in business has to be bigger than my why I should hit the snooze button. So what am I most excited about today? Question number 2 is, what might trip me up today? So I know if my goal is to eat healthy, like Sarah said, or to lose 15 pounds or whatever it is, what might trip me up today? Well, it might be the fact that my kids want to go to Culver's after school. So what is the alternative I can plan now to avoid the temptation when I know it's going to arise later today? So what might trip me up today? And then question number 3 is, who can I surprise today? Who can I give gratitude to today? Who can I show love to today? Because we know what goes around comes around. And we know when we give other people a smile, like that's the most beautiful thing, about smiling, about teaching your kids to smile, is when you smile at others, how many people smile back at you, right? And that's gratitude in our world. When we give it to other people, look at what they give back to us every single day. So 3 questions to start your day off with. What am I excited about? What might trip me up today? And who can I surprise today?
I like it. I like it. So a couple other things as far as daily habits, you guys, I just to recap what Ashley was saying yesterday, I talked about, I think we set ourselves up to fail so often, right? With our phones. And, a lot of you guys are watching this on your phone right now while you're multitasking, doing something, right? But our phones, gosh, as wonderful as they are supposed to be, they're evil in so many ways. So setting boundaries for our phones. And this can be as simple as far as getting up in the morning, don't use your phone as your alarm clock. Honestly, there's studies out there that are now, are saying about the waves from your phone being next to your bed all night where your head is, and that's not healthy for you. I don't know if that's true or not. I kind of feel like it's just one more reason for me to leave my phone in my kitchen, right? Or somewhere else, and use my alarm clock to wake me up, right? I don't like the alarm clock the buzz or whatever, but all I want to do is turn it off, right? And then I get up out of bed, versus when I use my phone, I shut the alarm off. But to do that, I hit my phone and all of a sudden I see all the notifications. So what's the first thing I want to do? Oh, grab my phone, see what that notification is, respond to this, respond to that. Next thing I know, I've been either laying there awake when I should have went back to sleep, or I should have got up and done something productive, or I should have just rolled over and said good morning to my husband. But yet I don't. I just sit there on my phone. It's like, that's the most important thing in my life. That's my priority. And it should never be that way, right? That's never the way it's supposed to be. So there's a simple task. When it comes time to, what is going to take priority in your life, right? You've got to verbalize that with your team. You've got to say, all right, here's the deal, guys. I struggle here. So my priority is at this time, unless the store is on fire, I'm not reachable, right? These are my boundaries. These are your boundaries. Let's respect those, because the phone is something that we have with us all the time. So people feel like they can reach out to you all the time. And it's just really important for for you to set those boundaries and then stick to them. I made a comment about Ben on our team yesterday that he's so awesome at how he manages his time and his daily habits. He has a hard cutoff in his day because that's family time. So when you're approaching that time, he'll remind you in a meeting, like, we have 15 more minutes, right? He's not being rude. He's just saying, Sarah, you know what? Our conversation's great. However, let's get to the point because I've got family time in 15 minutes or whatever it is. But often as entrepreneurs, we have this mindset of there's no boundaries and I've got to be everything for everyone. And I've got to sell my soul to make this happen. And it goes back to that managing time and being resourceful and respectful of that time. And that's what I'm seeing when I talk to a lot of boutique owners that are really doing well. And it's funny because I'll have stores reach out to me and say, oh, I saw so-and-so and she was on vacation. And they're like, how does she get to go on vacation? I don't get to go on vacation. And I'm like, well, let's see. She has a system and process in place. She has delegated, she has worked up until this point to organize and have everything run smoothly. And she mapped it out. Actually, I talked to her 8 months ago and she set this vacation. She set it up. It was not negotiable. That was going to be her time. Mm-hmm. Instead of one day, I'm going to take a vacation. That whole idea of one day I'm going to do this. If I had time, I would do this. Well, that's not the case. I bet there's a lot of you guys sitting here right now saying, oh my God, I just said that to a friend of mine this morning. I just messaged her and said, oh my gosh, sister, if we had time, I'd love to get together for wine. One day when you're not doing anything, let me know. Who is that? When does it ever happen? Right? Right. And so that is, as far as daily habits, getting organized with these things and being on the same page. And again, I keep referring back to the planner, but this is so important to know who's working, who's not in your team, in your business, right? Who's taking vacation. And you need to know that and write that down. And the whole team needs to know what do I need to be aware of for next week? Oh, Ashley and Sarah and Beth are all in LA for retail boot camp next week. Awesome. Well, if our team doesn't know that until Monday morning, think of the stress that it causes for them. And then think of all the phone calls and the Slack messages we're going to get on our phone. It's going to be crazy. But if we can let them know and they can prepare and we can develop those daily habits, right? For all of us to be aware of what's happening in the future, looking ahead, planning ahead. Things can be streamlined. Things can still run efficiently, right? The groups don't suffer. The emails get returned, all the things that happen in our business, similar to your business. I think that's really, really important. So yeah, a couple of those things I wanted to, I guess, touch on quick is, turn off those notifications on your phone or your watch. We all know that, that's simple. It's just a matter of actually doing it and do the hard stuff first. I talked about that a little bit yesterday. When you have so many things on your plate, go ahead and look at that plate and look at that and think, all right, these are the things, like Ashley said, these might trip me up. These are the things that are, I just don't want to do them. Just get them done. That's why exercising in the morning is so flipping important, because you will find every reason under the sun to not do it later. So do the hard stuff first, then look at your plate and look at your list of to-dos or whatever, and look at those things that are just like 1 minute things. 30-second, 1 minute task, set up that dental appointment, just freaking do it. Call the dentist, make the appointment, get it done. So it doesn't come back and haunt you 18 more times during the day. And then you lay down to go to bed at night and you're like, oh my God, my tooth really hurts. Oh shoot, I forgot to call the dang dentist. Those 30-second things, just get them done. And look at the clarity it gives you in the rest of your day. But that stuff doesn't happen unless you intentionally prioritize your day that way and have those good daily habits installed.
Sarah, something I'm very related to that I'm guilty of is I'm so into batching my tasks together that sometimes I'll get messages, a text message, and I'll read it and I'll go, oh, I'll respond to that in a minute. And then what happens is I respond to it in my head and I never actually go back and respond to it. And I can't remember, was that a text message? Was it a Facebook message? Was it an email? Like, where did that all come from? And so I've had to kind of chunk things up in my head of, okay, if I get a text, I respond to it, immediately. When I check my texts, I don't check them as they come in, but when I pick my phone up, I don't open anything until I know I can respond to everything. And same with email. Like, I don't watch all the emails come in. I shut my email off. And then, 2-3 times a day, I'll jump in and I've got 20-30 minutes and then I'll respond. But not just like one at a time. But when I'm in there, I have to respond right away. So
Yeah.
it's just like holding yourself accountable to that because it's so easy to get those things lost.
And I go back to what we talked about yesterday in trending, and I'm going to speak to you as if you have a brick and mortar store, but it doesn't have to be brick and mortar. It could be your online, right? Your daily habits need to be organized in a fashion that fits your business. So in my store, I knew it was imperative that I got in there, did the hard rocks, got those out of the way before I opened, right? I was able to be on the floor no later. And I mean, physically on the floor, mentally on the floor, emotionally on the floor at 11 o'clock, because that's when we got busy. I couldn't be like in the back room, hear the door open, hear a customer's voice and half-ass go out there and visit with her. The whole time I'm thinking, crap, I've got to get that email sent, or I've got to do this, I got to do that. And then she's sitting there talking to me and I'm missing what she's saying, right? Like those relationships, that feel of connection, you can't fake that stuff for long term. You really can't. So to know that my go time, like game on at 11 o'clock, not negotiable. I have got to be 100% present in my business with my customers from 11 to 2:30. Then weirdly enough, in my store, I had about an hour and a half gap that it kind of lulled, right? And I could set up some time there. Then in the evening, we were open till 6, and you just never knew. You didn't know what was going to happen, right? So I certainly was not going to schedule something major like reconciling my checkbook for 5 o'clock in the evening on a Thursday. That just, you don't do that. So those things that were my big rocks, those things that I really needed to be focused in on and dialed in, so zero, interruptions, I had to get those done early. And it was, at first when you're an entrepreneur, I feel like you're like, oh yeah, I can fit that in, or I'll get to that and whatever. Oh, that's not so much fun. I'll do that later. And next thing you know, it is 2 months later and you realize, oh my gosh, I still have not reconciled my checkbook. And then, or I haven't reconciled my credit card statement. And then all of a sudden you go back and you're like, wait, what is this charge? I have no idea. So now you spend 45 minutes digging through a box of receipts or going through and pulling up your credit card invoice online, printing it all out, checking things off, asking your teammates, all these things like, do you have any idea what this charge is? What's this charge? Now you got to call the credit card company, and now all of those things, right? Because it's 2 months later and you really can't remember. And those non-negotiables that we talked about yesterday, they're not going to go away. The IRS is never going to call you and be like, oh, you didn't have time? No problem. Whenever you get to it, go ahead and get all your paperwork sent in and pay us, right? Whenever you're ready, whenever it's convenient. That's never, ever going to happen. Mm-hmm. But in our world, we put a lot of our those important things off. And just like the IRS is important, you guys, your personal health and well-being is super important as well. Yeah. And so these strategies, these daily habits are going to give you that clarity to be able to clearly run your business. So then you can go on vacation and you can do these other things, and you will sell through that inventory because the inventory you have is good inventory. It's not, there less mistakes on your buying, right? The customers that you have, you're communicating with them in a way that's resulting in sales. The channels you're pushing your products to isn't just a whim. It's not just we'll try it. It's strategic. Yeah. And that doesn't just happen. It might happen once, but it's not going to happen on routine.
Yes. Amen to that. Penny, I love that. You're the queen of Post-it notes everywhere. Those help, right? Those constant daily reminders. Boot camp. Yes. Jamie, boot camp has definitely helped with being accountable.
And you guys, this replay, somebody asked, Ellie, I think she said a customer had walked in, but yes, the replay will all be, you'll get it all back out. You'll have it in your Kajabi. You'll get the emails and everything on that. So
yes, perfect. All right. Anything else on daily habits, Sarah?
I think the only other thing that I wanted to add in there is, I talked about it yesterday, so I'll just recap it a second here, is taking breaks, right? You have got to get up and walk away from something. And I saw this the other day. That, and I think it's pretty relatable. So I'm going to go ahead and say this now, but if I asked you, Ashley, to take that candle, that red candle behind you, that's a red candle, right? Grab that for me, will you? I think that's, yeah.
It's pink, but we'll call it
pink.
Red.
Okay. Yep. Pink. I see it's pink now. How heavy is that?
Heavy.
Heavy? Like 20 pounds heavy?
Like it's like 3 pounds heavy.
Okay, hold it out here. Okay, so as I'm sitting here talking, we're going to watch as Ashley is going to start to struggle with this. And you think it's 3 pounds right now?
Yeah, it's a heavy candle.
Holy smokes, 3 pound candle. That's a lot. So as you're holding it, do you feel like it's getting heavier? Like if I asked you to hold this the entire time of this webinar, how heavy do you think that thing would be at the end of the webinar?
It'd be heavy. It'd be 20
Like,
pounds.
oh, it all of a sudden weird that it's all of a sudden going to weigh 20 pounds.
Yes.
Is it getting heavier right now? Like I want to see you start. If it's a legit, what I'm saying is the candle hasn't changed. You can put it down. The candle doesn't change. But as Ashley's holding it, it becomes heavier and more burdensome to us, right? And it puts this extra weight on us and in our mind, and we just feel it. It drags us down, right? And this is what happens when we think of negative thoughts. It's what happens when we get consumed with things. It's just one thing, but the longer we hold on to it, and like our mind, she can't think of anything else right now but this pink candle in her hand. And like, oh my God, how long do I have to hold this? Right. And it just weights us down. You guys, those are those hard things in your life. Those are, those, you can set it down. Good job, Ashley. But what I'm saying is just get them done. Just take care of them, right? Put them to bed and get over it. And there's going to be things in your mind that like really confuse you or you're pondering and you can't solve right now. The worst thing you can do is just completely just dive in and think of absolutely nothing else, because that thing will weigh you down to the point where everything else in your business is continually happening. Your customers, your staff, your family, it'll hurt them, right? Because you're so consumed on this one thing that really, when you first got a hold of it, it wasn't that big of a deal. But the longer you hold on to it, the more it just really, really weighs you down.
Yeah.
So what are those things daily that you're dealing with a clear mind? You're like, later on, right? When your mind's clear, you're like, oh my God, why did I stress about that so much? Why did I let that weigh me down? But in the moment, it just kills you. It's painful to the point, it's painful. So those are those daily habits. We got to identify those and just let that shit go. Yeah. Just let it go.
Can we have a round of applause for Sarah and her analogies, please?
Jeez.
That was so good, Sarah. Like, way to snap into like, oh, grab that candle, Ashley. That was so true. It's so good. It all the negative thoughts, everything.
Yes.
All that becomes so heavy at the end of the day, just like you said. That was so good. Mm-hmm. Drop the microphone for you.
There you go.
Nice.
That's what I got.
All right. So pillar number 4 was having the right daily habits. CEOs have the right daily habits that support what was number 3, which was setting the right goals. And this all ties into the final success habit of CEOs, and that's eating the elephant figuratively. So what is the elephant for you? What is the biggest rock on your to-do list that takes the most time that you have to do every single week that you can create systems around that is critical to your business? And so for most of you as boutique owners, that's content. Tell me if you would agree, if content is your elephant, right? It's always content. It never goes away. Social media never shuts off. It never stays the same. There's always something new. And you're like, God dang it, why am I dancing to TikToks? I thought I said I was never going to do this. And now here you are dancing to a flippin' TikTok, right? That's our life. So how can we start to really eat the elephant and break that down and systematize that process? So for those of you who were on Retail Bootcamp this morning, and I know some of you are catching the replay of this webinar, so it's not relevant to you, but tell me in the comments if you were on Retail Bootcamp this morning, because our module this week, module 10, was all about content and deep diving into strategy around content. And so what I want to give you guys today is kind of a quick recap of that. And how do I create a system around the content I'm planning? And because I know we're coming into the 4th quarter, I want to talk about what does that look like for the 4th quarter specifically. And so the best thing you can do as you're thinking about eating that elephant right now in the 4th quarter is taking your planner, opening it up to just the blank old calendar page, right? Simple calendar page. And we're going to go through the last months of the 4th quarter. And we're going to start by looking at what are the biggest holidays. of the fourth quarter, right? And what are the biggest events and promotions that I'm going to run in the fourth quarter? Black Friday, Pink Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, all of that. I'm going to start by circling all those dates. Where's my USPS shipping cutoff date? And then back up a week before that, because we all know that's going to be wrong this year. It'll be worse than whatever they predict it's going to be. Where's my gift card promotions, right? Where's all the other like Scrooge night or things if I have a brick and mortar that are happening in my community, and circle all of those. Then we're going to take that a step back, and we're going to start by the biggest pieces of, I don't know, I was going to say pieces of rock. That doesn't make any sense. The biggest supporting rocks for those events that we have to get done, and what are those going to be, and what dates do those need to be done? Things like, when do my emails need to go out promoting these things? When do Facebook events need to be created? When do photo shoots need to happen? When do I need to get out my Christmas decor so I can make sure I've got Christmas decor in my photo shoots? When do I need to make sure I follow up with that vendor so those Christmas teas I ordered actually arrive on time? What graphics need to be created in Canva, and by when? So what are the deadlines for all those pieces that tie into the biggest events of the fourth quarter? So that's step number 2. And then step number 3 comes on a weekly basis, and that's batching out the content that I need to create on a weekly basis. And really quick for us in retail, it's 6 pieces of content. It's live video, it's try-on sessions, and I would say attention-getting videos, so our TikToks, our Reels, our try-on sessions, our gift videos. Then it's our product photos. Then it's our quotes and memes. And then it's our personal stories. And then it's collections. So real quick, I can repeat those in the comments in a minute. But it's, what are those 6 essential pieces of content I need to create each and every week so that I can sit down and batch create them one day a week, and then pre-schedule all of that content into my calendar. And then the rest of the week, I have all of that time to sit down and actually engage and actually be present with my customers, and not just wonder, what am I going to post at 3 o'clock today? Oh crap, I don't have the sales. My sales goal was $1,000 today. I'm only at 200 and it's noon. Oh crap, what am I going to do? Right? I'm too busy to think about it. Or great, my elephant's already taken care of. I've eaten the elephant. I've pre-scheduled all my content. Now I know, man, can I throw in an extra live? Can I create another TikTok? Do I need to show some more product? Do I need to restyle some product? Like, what's not working, so I can actually play the game in the moment and not constantly be playing defense, if we're in the sports analogy. So eating the elephant ahead of time and pre-planning all of that is so important. And so yesterday I showed you guys a little sneak peek of the content planner we'd created. And this is really why. This is how we eat the elephant. So for me, so many inappropriate comments I left you guys with yesterday. Another one was, I'm a freak in the sheets. And that is the spreadsheets, because I love to plan all of my content in spreadsheets. And when I do, I map out the times of the day down the side of the spreadsheets in the rows. And then the columns across are the channels that we're on. So the channels that we're on, if I'm doing 3 posts in my Facebook VIP group, then I've got 3 columns for that. So some people love the spreadsheet idea. Some people need to physically write it down, much like a to-do list. So that's what this book is all about. That's the content planner. So these dates in here are not actually dated, like they're open. So you could say Friday, September 1st, if this is where you wanted to start it. And then go through every single week and sit down with your team and plan out all that content, eat the elephant, and then they can go execute it. So it's not you doing everything, but it's you making sure you've got the plan up here on how you're going to eat the elephant. And then your team, you can hand it off to them and they can execute it. And if you're like, I'm a one-woman show, well, there is nothing wrong with you going and getting a college intern for 5 hours a week at $10 an hour, or whatever your minimum wage is in your state, and investing $50 that gives you 5 hours back. And how much money can you make in 5 hours if you had that back on your plate? How much more elephant could you eat if you had 5 more hours to do it, right? That's $50 well spent. You can go do a live sale and make $2,000, right? I invested 50, I made $2,000. Yes, I will take that deal. Yes, that's investing, like we talked about yesterday. It's not saving my way into prosperity. And so often we get to thinking about hiring our first employee, and we're like, oh, it's an expense. It's a payroll expense. No, it's a payroll investment. Think about how much more time I'm going to get back as a CEO when I invest this money and grow my team. So that's eating an elephant. Sarah, do you have anything to add?
I would just say that content planner that you were showing them, you guys, that is going to be a real game changer. Like as we were developing this, and Shannon was very involved with this, helping Jessie as well. And she's our guru when it comes to content, for the Boutique Hub. And she has got things down, a great system in place. So she doesn't miss a beat on any of our channels. It's been fantastic. But another thing that we added in here is, looking ahead at the holidays to help you plan and launch your collections, right? So you're going to be getting these reminders that are saying, in the beginning, when there's some resources there, just saying, hey, heads up, you should be thinking about this now, and map that out. So in our store, in our business, warehouse, whatever it would be, I would have this sitting available for my team to review, right? Like I'd have my week open on the back table where they're taking breaks, where they're able to look at these things and mark this off when we get it done, right? Jessie filled some of these sheets out just like a boutique owner would be using. And it's super organized. It's beautiful. I mean, Jarvis doesn't do anything that is not aesthetically pleasing, right? Everything that she's creating is gorgeous inside the planner. And this content planner is the exact same way. So it's fun to use. It makes sense, but it's going to be a great tool for not just you, but your entire team, whoever you choose to share this with. And a couple other things, best practices, tips, and things like that are in there as far as content and creation. And so it's kind of, what did we say? Like the Boutique Boss Planner and the marketing bundle had a baby and created this content planner for you. And I think it's, we hear your guys' voices, and we continue to come back with new updated products that serve what you guys are asking for. So I just think it's going to be fantastic.
Jessie Jarvis is in the comments thinking that those things are not true. You dork. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. She did a great job.
Yes. All right, guys. So just to recap today and the overall 5 pillars of success, 5 success habits of CEOs. Yesterday, we talked about managing time and analyzing the right numbers and trends. And today was setting the right long-term goals, having the right success habits, and eating the elephant. So I hope that this last 2-day stretch that we've been able to spend together was helpful. I know we talked about a lot of different resources in the last 2 days. So when we send out the replays to these webinars, we'll link up all the different things we talked about, from the marketing bundle to, I know the majority of your questions are around when do these puppies launch, and that's October 4th. They will go on pre-order. We hope they will be in our hands and not in the middle of the ocean somewhere shortly after that. This one is stateside, so we'll have it sooner. And then we'll be able to get it to you so you can launch the new year with all those tools in hand. So we'll set up an email, get you the replays, we'll get you all those links. And in the meantime, you guys, Sarah and I and our entire team at the Hub are always here, whether it's in the members only group or if you message us on Instagram or wherever it is. Our goal is to see you guys be successful, because at the end of the day, the mission of the Hub is when we change a business, we know we change a life, and we know we change the lives of your staff, and we know we change the community around your business. And so that is what we are most excited about doing and executing every single day. So thank you for spending the last 2 days with us. If there's anything you need, drop it in the comments, but we're so lucky to get to do what we do and to work with you guys on a daily basis. Thank you so much for being here. Sarah?
Yes, and for you guys, I just want to say, for those that are asking about the planner, I just dropped the link if you want to get on the wait list for those planners, because we did completely sell out last year, as all you guys know. If you didn't get one, sorry, but if you want to get on that wait list, go ahead and click that link. I'll drop it again so you guys have access to it. But I do love doing these things, and I hope there's, little nuggets you guys are going to be taking back and implementing in your business and on your team, and hopefully in your family life as well. And, finding clarity with that and becoming that more successful, more manageable business owner, that CEO in your business, that you really feel in control of things. That's our goal. That's what we hope for.
Absolutely. So good luck. I want you to write on a Post-it note on your computer, I am the CEO of my business. I am not just a hustling entrepreneur. I am the CEO. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Perfect. You guys look for an email from us. Take a screenshot, drop it on the gram, tag us at the Boutique Hub. We'll be back soon and see you guys. Take care.